We're going to start with Detective Coyne with the Troy Police Department. He's going to talk to you for a little bit and then introduce some other people to you. So let's give him a big round of applause.
Hello, junior class. How are you? Awesome. The bar's been set high. It's not, the seniors are they were pretty good last class. So the bar's been set high, but you guys are the last class. You got a chance to take the prize and never take it all. You had that chance. My name is Chris Coyne. I'm a police officer with the police department over in Troy, Illinois. And you might be asking why a Troy officer is here. Here's why. A couple years ago, I was approached by a team of 8th grade students from the middle school who asked if, I'm also our DARE officer. I've been teaching DARE for 18 years, so I've been around a while, okay? And they asked if I would be willing to do a heroin prescription drug, kind of a DARE refresher course for the 7th and 8th graders at Tribe Middle School, because heroin and prescription drug overdoses were wreaking havoc in my town. Okay? And this is little bitty old Troy, Illinois. You guys know where that's at. All right? We're about the third of the size of Collinsville, and it was just tearing our kids up. Okay? So we put a presentation together here, and I thought it would be really interesting if I were to get two people who are very good friends of mine, who represent the three agencies that you're going to deal with if you choose a life of criminal activity. Okay? So I have two other guest speakers here, and then a very, very special guest speaker that's going to talk to you guys when we're done. The first speaker that I have here, you don't want the services in his office, I can assure you. Brought along with me, the Madison County State's Attorney. He is the Chief Law Enforcement Officer for Madison County, Illinois. Would you guys please welcome Madison County?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Detective Coyne. Most of you probably have no idea what I do. So let me give you a little example. The state's attorney is the chief prosecuting attorney for your county. So if you get a traffic ticket, if you get charged with murder, anywhere in between those two, and you come to court, you're going to be dealing with me or one of the lawyers from my office, and we're going to be the ones who haul you in front of the judge. And if you've committed a crime, we're going to be the ones that ask the judge to put you behind bars. So basically what we do for a living is I put bad guys away. The cops pick them up and we knock them down. What that means for you is that you don't want to have anything to do with me or the people who work in my office. Because if you're dealing with us, that means you're already on the wrong end of things. You have already gone so far down the road most of the time. I'm not talking about traffic tickets, everybody. But if you've committed a criminal offense, you are far down the road you don't want to be down. Because prosecutors and the courts can take away your freedom, they can take away your money, they can take away your future. But the only way that we have the power to do any of those things is if you've made the choices that give us the power to do it. So we're going to talk today about ways that you can stay away from me, that you can stay away from the people in my office, that you can keep yourself from having to deal with us so that you can keep yourself from giving us the authority to change your life in ways you don't want. Now, since we're talking, I've told you a little bit about myself. I need to know a little bit about this class. I've met the other classes in your school. They're all a little bit different. Each class is a little different, has their own ways of doing it. So I want to know a little bit about you. So, first of all, first question, please raise your hand. Who wants to grow up to be poor? Nice. Poor, not poor. Good. Crickets. I don't hear anything. Okay. Who wants to grow up to be stupid? One. Any other takers? Don't worry, there are others like you. You'll find friends. Who wants to grow up and go to prison? Same guy? No, I don't see a hand. Good. He's not that stupid. Who wants to grow up to be a thief? How about a drug dealer? Who wants to be a convicted felon? Okay, good. You're doing well on this test, except for a couple things. Who in this room, raise your hand, if when you grow up, you want to be a murderer? Okay. Now we've talked about the bad end of things. Let's talk about some good things. Who wants to grow up to be successful? Hands up, come on. Oh. And when I say successful, I mean by your definition. What is it that you want to do about it? The things that you want to have for you, the good things you want for yourself. You measure success in the way it makes you feel and it fulfills your life. So when you raise your hand, I bet every one of you has a little bit of different idea what that means, but you all are bought into that because you know you want success. Who wants to grow up to have family and friends around? Good friends, good family. That's good stuff too. Anybody want to grow up to be like a professional athlete? Anybody like that? Couple here? Actor, actress, famous person? I'm sure we got some of those. Who wants to grow up to be like like a PhD, scientist, engineer, all kinds of lots of hands. Okay. Who wants to grow up and be a prosecuting attorney? Come on, a couple of you, just come around. Thank you. That's all good stuff. Everybody's got a little bit different idea of what it means to grow up and be successful and have a good life. That's what you need to be focused on. And in order to do that, you've got to apply yourself. You've got to work hard. You've got to put the energy into it, and you have to make the right choices along the way. Because I'm here to talk to you about the kinds of choices that people are making. And unfortunately, the ones I'm going to talk about are really bad ones. But I'm glad to see that the junior class at Collinsville High School understands what you've got to do to get that success that you want. That you understand that you have to look ahead and see your future in a good light. Now the question is, are you going to do what it takes to get there? Or are you going to go the other way? I'm going to talk to you about the other way today because that's the business I'm in. I'm the one who has to go to court and deal with the criminals. And I've been state's attorney for 4 years now, and I've been a prosecutor since 1998. I see a lot of people come through the courts, a lot of criminals. And I'm going to tell you from my experience that it takes 4 easy steps to get from where you are right now with a bright future and all that success ahead of you to being a murderer. 4 easy steps. Some of those things are probably things that some of you have done. I guess we'll see. Step 1. Somebody you know asks you, hey, your dad, brother, mom, dad, grandma, got injured. You got some pain pills in your medicine cabinet. I want you to go in there and get me a couple of those. I'll give you $10 a piece. I'll give you a ride somewhere, or I'll buy you some alcohol, whatever. Or you're just going to do it because you want to make me happy. So you take step 1 and you walk in the bathroom. You open up the medicine cabinet, you open the pill bottle, you take a couple out, close the lid, put it away. Step 1, you are now a thief. Because those are not your pills, and you are stealing. And for that, I can put you in jail for a year. Nobody wants to hire a thief. Nobody wants to be around a thief. If you're convicted of theft, it will follow you the rest of your life, and it will change the course of your entire life. That success that you had in your mind when I asked you about it, take that down a few notches. Because thieves don't go far. Nobody trusts them. Nobody helps them. It's a lot harder to get by in life. Well, that sucks, huh? But you can undo it. You can walk back from step one. You can take those pills, put them back in the bottle, put it back in the cabinet, walk back out, find that person who asked you for them, tell them to go pound sand and to stay away from you, and you can take a different path. And you're still fine. Because you can be right back where you are right now. All you got to do is change the choice that you made. You made this bad choice, but you can still undo it. You can turn around and walk away and still be okay. But not everybody does it. Some people keep going. So we're already here. You're a thief. Step two only takes a matter of seconds from step one. You take those pills, you turn around, and you walk out of that bathroom or that room, wherever those things are. You are now a felon. Because you're in possession of a controlled substance. Pain pills, anti-anxiety medications, prescription medications are controlled substances, and you are in possession of a controlled substance. That is a Class 4 felony punishable by up to 3 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections. That is prison. You are also a convicted felon for life, which means no one will ever hire you, no one will give you student loans, no one will ever give you a loan on a house, they don't want to trust you, they probably don't want to rent to you. Your opportunities in life have diminished severely. Nobody raised their hand when they said they wanted to grow up poor. Most felons grow up relatively poor because there are no opportunities for them. So you've taken step one, you're a thief. You've taken step two, you're a felon. You walked out. But you can walk back in there before you give those pills over. You can walk back in that bathroom and undo step two. Steps 1 and 2, you can turn around from and undo them before you've gone too far. Go back in the bathroom, put the pills away, walk out, go find that person, tell them to go pound sand, tell them you never want to talk to them again. Because that person is trying to lead you down a path for their own good. It's not for your good. They're trying to get you to do something to hurt yourself and ruin your future. And if you let them, if you go along with them, that's exactly what happens. But you can still turn it around from steps 1 and 2. But a lot of people don't. And they take step 3. They take those pills. They let them out of their hand. They give them to that person. And the moment that happens, now you're a drug dealer. Don't believe me? In the state of Illinois, the distribution of a controlled substance makes you a drug dealer. And now, I'll treat you like a drug dealer, and there's no turning back. Once you hit step 3 and you let those pills out of your hand, it's over. There is no turning around. Unless somehow you're convincing that person to give them back to you so you can get them back in there, good luck with that. Because that person, or the person that they're getting them for, is probably an addict, and they want them back. You think you're getting those back? Step 3, you cannot turn back. It's too late. The moment you let those out of your hand, you have let your future and your fate in someone else's hands. Happens all the time. I see it in court every day. People just like you, who look just like you, who come from families just like yours, and neighborhoods like yours, make those 3 steps in a matter of minutes. You're outside. Hey man, go get me some of those pills. You walk in, grab the pills, put the bottle away, walk out, hand it to them. How long did that take you? 30 seconds have changed the course of your entire life. 3 simple decisions. It can happen that quickly, and it does. It happens all the time. I see it all the time. I'm just here telling you what I'm seeing in court, what I'm seeing young people like you do. And the reason I'm here to tell you is because I want to make sure you don't. I want to make sure you know how to get out of it, to get away from it. I want to make sure you know what happens if you do it. Because I don't want you coming into court and crying. I don't want you to come in and cry to me and say, I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know what was wrong. Because I know all your names now. You're on the list for the class. I can get the class list, and I can say every single one of you knew better. If you try and cry to the judge, I'm gonna bring in a picture from the yearbook and say, On November 13th, 2014, I stood in front of that entire class. Every one of those people knew better because I told them all. You can't use that excuse. You know better now. But we're still on step 3. So how do we get to step 4? Step 4 happens. You let those pills out of your hand, and either that person that you give them to, or the person that they give them to, or the person that that person sells them to, or gives them to, all the way down the line, somebody dies. We have more prescription overdoses than we have heroin overdoses. And we got a lot of those. It's happening all the time. More and more. I don't care which person eats those pills and dies. Doesn't matter to me as a prosecutor, because you know what? Here's the body. How many people between them and you doesn't make a difference to me, because I charge every single one of you with drug-induced homicide, murder. If you participate in this chain of distribution of those same pills that came out from that medicine cabinet of that house, if you participate in any way of transferring those, you participate in a murder. And I charge you as a murderer, and I prosecute you as a murderer, and we put you in prison like a murderer. If you think I'm kidding, go look at the court records. That's what we're doing to people. It's that serious. People are losing their lives. And they're losing their lives because enough of our young people have decided that steps 1, 2, and 3 are no big deal, and you're willing to take those 3 steps. And the result of it is those drugs are getting out into the public and people are dying. So my responsibility as the state's attorney is to hold people accountable, to put them in prison when they do that, and treat you like a thief, a felon, a drug dealer, and a murderer all the way along. For those of you who've heard what I've said, I wish you the best in your successful life, because you're not going to take these steps, and you're not going to let your friends take these steps or draw you into it. I wish you the very best. It was good meeting you today. For those of you who don't believe me, I guess I'll see you in court.
Okay, guys, our next speaker, you don't want the services of the police, you don't want the services of the state's attorney's office. I can assure each and every one of you that you won't bet you'd agree. You absolutely do not want the services from the office of our next speaker. Okay? So up to talk to you guys now is the Chief Investigator for the Madison County Coroner's Office. Please welcome Investigator Kelly Ryder.
Good afternoon. Really? Come on. Good afternoon. So, everybody knows where I work. Madison County Coroner's Office. Everybody know what I do for a living? Well, I don't look at dead. Well, I do look at dead bodies. But we investigate the deaths. We have to, in our office, we have to determine how someone died and their manner of death. How someone died could be a drug overdose. The manner of death could be homicide, accident, suicide, natural, or undetermined manner of cause. I'm here to talk to you today about drugs. We all know that drugs are bad for us, right? In 2007, my boss sent me to a meeting over in St. Louis, the DEA. While I was sitting in this meeting over there, DEA, everybody knows what DEA is? Okay. They were saying, get ready. Heroin's on the way, we know it's on the way. Prepare yourself, get ready for it. So I go back, I tell my boss, we start doing the things that we need to do. Our very first case in 2008 that I want to talk about here for a couple minutes is a very sad case. It's a case of a husband and a wife. The only positive part of that case was the husband and wife lived in the upstairs of her mother's home. She had sent a text message to a friend and said, "Hey, we scored China White." Within a matter of seconds on the text, her friend texts back and says, "Don't touch it, it will kill you." Well, needless to say, if I'm involved in the case, what do we think happened? They touched it. The other sad part to this case is they had a 3-month-old baby. They were both, I believe one was 23, the other was 22. I don't know which one was at what age, I don't remember. The baby was crying. Her mother hears the baby crying. She continues to hear the baby crying. She goes upstairs. Not only does she find her daughter deceased, but she also finds her son-in-law deceased, dead, in the bedroom with the baby crying. If you don't think that heroin can take your life, or if you don't think that any prescription drugs can take your life, think again. One time using heroin, you're addicted to it. One time. Heroin attacks, your brain has many, many receptors in the brain. Heroin blocks those receptors to keep you from thinking, and all it does is it makes you think that you need that drug more and more and more. I have watched since 2008 this drug ruin the lives of many families. I could go back and do the stats and count up all of the deaths that we've had in Madison County alone. But can you imagine the people who haven't died from this drug? The effects that it's had on the family of the addicts? Now I'm going to show you real quick here, and I need everybody to work with me. I want to show you how quickly drugs can wipe your class out, okay? So I need everybody to stand up. Everybody stand up. So start from here, each row, all the way up to the top. Every 5th person sit down. Every 5th person sit down. While we're doing this, I'm going to be talking while we're doing this, so I need you guys to kind of pay attention because I don't have much time, okay? 1 out of 5 students admitted to using prescription drugs. 1 out of 5, okay? So now, let's do this. Every 4th person sit down. Metropolitan area, that number right there is how many people have overdosed and almost died on heroin. Now I need every 3rd person to sit down. Shows how many people in the St. Louis metropolitan area have overdosed and died on heroin. Look how quick prescription drugs and heroin wipe your whole class out. Take a second, look. It doesn't take much. This drug is very, very addictive. Everybody else can sit down. Thank you. I want to talk about some of the other cases that I've handled. Here's another sad part. And yes, everything about my job is sad. But when I go into homes and I see padlocks on doors, and when we interview those parents or those family members that live inside that residence, and we ask them why the padlocks are on the door, they tell us that that's their most prized possessions, and that their loved one, whether it be their son, daughter, niece, nephew, grandson, granddaughter, whatever it may be, is stolen from them so they can get their fix for their heroin. The other thing that I want to talk about, everybody has a BFF, right? Best friend forever? We all have best friends forever, right? In the world of drugs, your best friend forever and drugs will do this to you. This is a true, actual case that myself and Detective Coyne worked. And he'll talk about this case a little bit more in depth. But here's what happened. They go get drugs. He shoots up heroin while they're driving around. His heart rate drops, his respirations drop. So instead of his best friend taking him to get him help at a hospital, he takes him to a cemetery and drops him off and leaves him to die. That's what your best friends forever in the drug community will do for you right there. No joke. I have worked cases where family members have dropped their own family member off on a country road and left them dead. Pretty sad, right? That's what your best friend forever in the drug community will do for you. Now, during this whole portion, I still have to go to school as well, too. My boss, Steve Nunn, the coroner in Madison County, and Mr. Gibbons sent me to school for DEA diversion school. So I got to go to school with DEA. I was able to sit in this school, I was able to sit and watch interviews where DEA agents interviewed drug dealers. And do you want to know what drug dealers say about each and every one of you? You're weak. You're not strong. You're weak. They know that they can give you that drug one time with very little peer pressure, and you're going to use that drug, and then they got you hooked on heroin. You're not weak, are you? Who in here is weak? Raise your hand. Who in here is strong? Right? Isn't it K-Hawk strong? Right? K-Hawk strong, right? These are the things that I see on a weekly basis in our office. Here is what I ask you. I have to sit and read every report of every death that happens in Madison County. I ask you not to be one of those names on a report that comes across my desk. I want each and every one of you to remember me as the gray-haired guy that stood in front of our class, and I want you to see me at Moto Mart, wherever, Italian Fest, wherever it may be, and come up and tell me that you're still K-Hawk strong. And with that, I thank you. You have been excellent, and thank you very much. They always stop me because I always forget something. I apologize. We were doing a presentation at Highland Middle School. And while Mr. Gibbons was talking, I get a text message from one of our investigators saying, call me quick. Call me as soon as you can. While we were working or doing our presentation, he was called to a residence, and when he got there, he had some very disturbing information for me. He said that this man, his son, who was, I believe, grade school, close to middle school, went to the bus driver before he got on the bus and said, we need to get help for my dad because I think that he's dead and he overdosed. So not only does it affect parents, grandmas, aunts, uncles, everybody, but it also affects children when parents are on this drug as well too. Today alone, while we're giving our speech to the seniors this morning, I get another text message of another drug overdose that occurred here in Madison County just this morning. Now here's the shocking thing of it. That drug overdose, this person was 80 years old. I have seen people from the ages of 16 now to 80 years old who have overdosed on either prescription medications or illicit drugs. So again, please be strong, K-Hawk strong. Okay, thank you.
Okay, would you guys please say thank you to Kelly and Tom for being here. They're both very, very good. Guys, we all have a lot going. I mean, these two guys here, unfortunately, are really, really busy. I'm a busy guy as well, okay? But we're here because we care, right? It's got to stop. It has to stop. It's out of control. People your age are dying, and it's not supposed to happen that way, okay? Again, I told you that this kind of started because of heroin and prescription drugs are wreaking havoc in my community. In little bitty old Troy, Illinois, we were seeing a bunch. So what I've done here is I went ahead and logged on a PowerPoint the heroin overdose deaths in Troy. All right, now I didn't put their names on there. I'll probably share a few names, just first names, but I didn't put their names on there. But what I do have is the dates of their death and the 29-year-old male. March 16, 2010, 29-year-old male. That's the guy you just saw in the cemetery. I'll talk about him a little bit more in a moment. Okay? March 16, 2010, 29-year-old male. July 9th, 2010, 37-year-old male. July 9th, 2010, 37-year-old male. Your best friends forever, right? Remember Kelly just told you that his best friend dumped him in the cemetery? This is the guy that dumped him in the cemetery. They were best friends. I've arrested both of them many times. I know both of them well. I've been a police officer for over 20 years. We have a portfolio in our in-house computer system on both of these guys. They could not stay out of trouble, and they are no longer with us. Okay? January 12, 2011, 17-year-old female. You notice that this is in red. The reason I put this in red, I told you earlier when I was introducing Tom that I'm our DARE officer in Troy. I've been our DARE officer for 18 years. This young lady was a former DARE student of mine. Beautiful little girl, Shannon. I knew her well. A year before her death, 5:30 in the morning, we get a 911 call for an unresponsive female at a residence in Troy. It was a split level house. And when we get there, we go downstairs, and I just noticed that the room they were in was just really clean. Okay? Really clean. And I'll explain that here in just a second. And there she is. She's on the bed, and she's unresponsive. The boys with her freaking out, I guess. How genuine, I don't know. Okay? But we do a thing when we show up and we have an unresponsive person. It's called a sternum rub. When you take your knuckles and you crank them in the middle of somebody's sternum and you rub on their chest, that chest bone, really hard. And I'm telling you, it hurts. And it hurts bad. And when you're doing that to a little bitty female and getting two grown men and getting no physical response at all, we have a serious, serious problem, right? We're on the radio screaming for help, get us an ambulance, get us an ambulance, get us an ambulance. She ends up coming to. Okay, thank goodness it didn't cost her her life. Little did we know at that time it was a heroin overdose. Second ago, I told you that I noticed the room was really clean. Kind of a clue. What do you think the boy did instead of calling for help immediately?
Cleaned up.
Got rid of the evidence. It was more important for him to get rid of the heroin and the needles and the paraphernalia and to clean the place up than it was to call for help initially. Thank goodness it didn't end bad that time. Unfortunately, on January 12, 2011, she wasn't quite so lucky. Okay? September 17, 2011, 30-year-old male. November 30th, 2012, 18-year-old female. Incidentally, former K-Hawk. Dies in Troy. March 5th, 2013, 20-year-old male. It's in red. What does that mean? Former DARE student. I taught him DARE. Same situation as the first two up top. Running around Monroe County, Illinois, way down south of Waterloo and Columbia. Okay? They're out partying, going getting their dope at St. Louis. Everyone coming from St. Louis. Running around partying. He gets in distress. Friends freak out. Don't know what to do. They literally pulled over on the side of a rural country road, drug him out of the car, laid him in a farmer's front yard, and left. That's where he died. Okay? So, as Kelly said, if you think you have a best friend and you're in this type of business, you are sadly, sadly mistaken. And incidentally, your best friend will dime you out in a heartbeat when the heat gets on. I've seen it happen many, many times. Many times. And this guy here, March 22nd, 2013, 8-year-old male. It's in red, former DARE student. Okay? He dies of a heroin overdose. I had arrested him not real long before his death. Got a call. He was being an idiot at his grandma's house, so I like to say that I had to go there to un-idiotize him. I just made that up, by the way, today, so you feel free to use that word if you want, un-idiotize. And I noticed he was whacked out. I knew he was whacked out on something. I figured it was Xanax, because Xanax is wreaking havoc in my community as well. Okay? So I arrest him. I find pills in his car. There's Xanax. He doesn't have a prescription for it. I arrest him, take him to the station. And it's just getting more into his system and more into his system to the point where we literally had, 18-year-old guy now, literally had to hold him against the wall in the booking room to keep him from falling over. And he was drooling all down the front of himself like a newborn baby. Spit and drool and saliva all down the front of himself. I called his dad and said, come get him. I can't deal with him right now. I got 2 felony charges and a misdemeanor charge, and I'm looking to tag on him. I can't deal with him right now. Come get him. Dad comes and picks him up. I said, get him some help. Get him to the doctors. Get him some help. I don't know how much of whatever he's taken. I have a feeling he took Xanax, but he needs some help. I want him back in my police department on Thursday. Dad does that. And I want him sober. Dad brings him back in Thursday. And he was begging me before he got too incoherent. Please don't arrest me. Please don't arrest me. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I'll tell you where I'm getting it. I'll tell you who sells stuff in Troy. There you go. He's going to dime his buddies out to save himself. All right? And they'll do it. I'm telling you, they'll throw you under the bus in a heartbeat to keep themselves from getting in trouble. So he comes back in Thursday. Well, the heroin's coming from St. Louis. No kidding. And there's a Best Buy in St. Louis, too. I didn't know St. Louis had Best Buy. I know the heroin's coming from St. Louis. I need specifics. You want to help yourself out? You got to be specific here. Well, he wasn't playing my game, my house, my rules, my game. So I told him, I said, you know what? His name was Tyler. I said, you know what, Tyler? I said, here's the thing. It's my understanding, and people are saying that you're doing heroin. Guys, I'm telling you, when I tell you he flipped out, that's an understatement. He was torqued off to the point where he jumped up and started yelling and screaming at me in the interview room. I thought we were going to fist fight. I stood up out of my chair because I'm not going to give him an advantage. Okay? I had no idea. He was angry. I do not do heroin. I'm trying to save my friends. I was with my friend when she overdosed and died on heroin. He was with her when she overdosed and died. Incidentally, it took them a little while to call 911 too. Okay. So we end our contact together that day. It wasn't so positive for him. The next day, this was on a Thursday, I'm talking to him. The next day, Friday, 3:33 p.m., I'm in my tree stand. With deer hunting. It's wilderness therapy. That's what it is. I'm out hunting. I get a phone call from the detective. You're not going to believe this. He just overdosed on heroin and is on his way to the hospital. And I was like, well, imagine that. After I just got yelled at and screamed at the day before for accusing him of something I knew he was doing, something he knew he was doing, and he overdoses on heroin. Okay? And then lastly, September 15, 2013, 46-year-old male. I don't know who this guy is, but guys, this is 8 heroin overdoses. 8 heroin overdoses in the city of Troy, little bitty old Troy, in 3 years and 6 months. Ranging in age from 17 to 46 years old, both male and female. No one is immune from this at all. Now, told you a second ago, him and him were really good friends. These two were good friends. He was with her when she overdoses and dies. Okay? Him and her knew her. They were all friends. She is his nephew. No, she's not. She is his niece. Excuse me. She was his niece. They're both dead of a heroin overdose. Birds of a feather flock together. Okay? What can you expect from your drug addict best friends, guys? They are with you no matter what, right? Through thick and thin, they're there for you. They got your back. They won't let anything happen to you. They won't let anyone hurt you, right? Think again. Here's Chad, March 16, 2010. This is the first heroin overdose. This is the heroin overdose. I shouldn't say the first one in Troy. This is the one that kind of started the downward spiral for all the overdoses that prompted us to come here to speak to you all today. Okay? This is not a fake picture. His name's Chad. Again, I arrested him many times. I got to chase him on foot a few times. I think he was shocked that an old chubby guy was able to catch him. I can still run, by the way. Where are my soccer players here? Soccer buddies in here? No soccer players in here? What? Man, I should have done the senior play. All right. Know this guy well, dealt with him many times. As I said earlier, guys, we got a portfolio on him. All right? I'll run around with his buddies. Like Kelly said, comes in distress. His buddies pulled into the cemetery here and put him out and dumped in the cemetery. I believe his brother is buried in the cemetery. All right? This was actually a drug-induced homicide case in Troy that required the assistance of the Major Case Squad. Does anybody know what the Major Case Squad is? Major Case Squad, if you don't know, if you watch TV, there's an activation going on right now out of East St. Louis on a homicide. It's a task force of detectives from agencies throughout five counties in Illinois, and we investigate homicides. Okay, I've been a member for 11 years. I've investigated 13 homicides with the Major Case Squad. All right? This case required the assistance of the Major Case Squad. Now, if you look right here, see all this right here? This was huge evidence for us right here. Okay, our investigators were able to, we knew where to go because we knew who his best friend was and we knew what his best friend was doing. So this wasn't really difficult. Okay, this wasn't even really a whodunit. We knew. Okay, got his car, matched up the tires to the tire impressions there in the mud, and brought that to a successful conclusion. Now, his brother, Lonnie was his name. He was involved in a very, very bad car accident years prior to this. He was a quadriplegic. Either him or his dad, they were in charge of giving the medication to his brother. What do you think he was doing with the medicine? Oxycontin, things like, yeah, stealing the medicine from his brother who's a quadriplegic that needed it. Okay? The things that people do, the decisions they make when they're under the influence and they are addicted to drugs, never, ever cease to amaze me. I've gone home scratching my head going, what in the heck happened today? Unreal. You can't wrap your brain around some things. Consequences of heroin use, guys: collapse of bone veins, skin discoloration, abscesses of the skin at injection site. Abscesses of the skin at the injection site. Bacterial infection, HIV/AIDS, hepatitis. How do we get stuff like this? How do drug addicts get stuff like this? They share what? They share needles. Okay? And I'll tell you this. Here's something you don't think about. My partner and I, we were executing a search warrant on a house earlier this year. And we know the resident. It was an apartment, actually. We know the girl that lives there. We've dealt with her many times. We've got a portfolio on her. She's a whack-out heroin addict as well. Okay, and meth and everything else. We're doing a search warrant on her house. She's hepatitis. She has hep C. Hepatitis C. Upstairs in her bedroom, my partner grabs a styrofoam cup that contained, unbeknownst to him, hypodermic syringes that were uncapped. One needle was protruding out of the side of the styrofoam cup, and when he grabbed the cup, the needle went all the way into his thumb. She's hep C positive. He is a brand new daddy. He has a wife. You think he's stressed? Would you be? Absolutely. He has to get tested. I'm not sure how often. He goes frequently to get tested. Okay? Loss of family, loss of job. These are the things that you can expect. Guys, this is wreaking havoc in many, many ways on families. When you lose your job, you don't have any money, you can't pay the bills, you can't put food on the table. Okay? You can't provide for your children. And when you can't provide for your children, the state has to step in and help you do so. Boy or girl? It's a girl. This is my friend Nora. This was this past Monday. This was this past Monday morning. If I had her name on the screen here, it would be in red. What does that mean?
She died.
Former DARE student. I taught her DARE. I know her well. Comes from a well-off family. Her aunt was a circuit judge here in Madison County, was the chief judge for a while, and ran for Congress this recent election. She does not come from a dumb family. Nor does she come from a poor family. Okay? There's a close-up. I want you guys to take notice of this. The open sores and the scabs and stuff that are on her cheeks and on her face. All right here. It's from meth. She did that when she was under the influence of methamphetamine. She picked holes in her faces, guys. So the ones that are healing, this one here is healing up. Some of these have healed, but they're there. And they're probably going to be there forever. And isn't this nice? That's a tattoo. That's not ink pen, that's a tattoo. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I won't try. I'm told that the language of that tattoo is Polish, and it means ugly. If you were a business owner, you made a successful business, and you hired people to represent your company, would you hire her? Based on this picture, would you hire her alone? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want, I want, this is my livelihood. Do you think people consider stuff like that? And I asked her, I said, Nora, why would you do that? And she laughed, and this is on video. She gave me a 23-minute videotaped interview. Because I told her, I said, hey, we do heroin presentations and prescription drug presentations to schools. Would you be willing to let me take some information from you and send a message to these kids? She said, absolutely, because if I can reach one child, if I can reach one kid, and one kid gets my message and they make a good decision because of the poor decisions I've made, I'll do it. 23-minute interview she gave me. Okay? And, I mean, the information that she passed on was unreal. This here is a tattoo in honor of her daughter, whom she hasn't seen for 6 months because the state took custody of her. She gets she gets supervised visits with her daughter every once in a blue moon. I'm a daddy. I cannot imagine not spending time with my kids or not seeing them on a daily basis. If I go out of town on a training mission, to a training class, or if I go out of town on a hunting trip or something, I call my kids and wife 2 or 3 times a day. I mean, I miss the heck out of them. I can't imagine somebody else parenting my child, especially the state. Okay? Here's the top of her arm, all the sores. This is her back, obviously. Isn't this nice? Look at the sores. Look at all the open sores on her back. And the scar, the scabbed over sores. Okay? She asked me, she said, and I'm like, my God, Laura. She said, I know. She goes, do you want me to take my pants off and my shoes and socks? And I'm like, no. Good. Good shape. The reason she asked me that is because in her arms, that's an abscess of the skin at an injection site. That is an open sore. She can't shoot heroin anymore because her vein is blown up and collapsed. She can't shoot heroin in her arms anymore because of blown, collapsed veins. She can't shoot heroin in the top of her hands anymore because of blown and collapsed veins. Shooting heroin in her legs. She's blowing those veins up too. Top of her feet are getting bad, so she's injecting in between her toes. Our guys went to arrest her boyfriend. When they went downstairs in their home, and they live in an awesome subdivision, I'll tell you. When they went downstairs to arrest her boyfriend, she was getting ready to inject heroin. Needle in hand, getting ready to inject heroin. You want to know where? Are you ready for this?
No.
I'm going to tell you anyway. In her neck. She had a tourniquet on her neck, choking herself, cutting off the circulation or whatever so the vein would swell, so that she could stick the needle into her neck and get the heroin into her veins because she's running out of veins in her body. Here's her story. She's 12 years old. This is how our interview started. 12 years old. 11 and 12 years old, you're in 6th grade. That's when I teach there. I'm certified in the core curriculum, which is 5th and 6th grade. 12 years old, she starts using marijuana and cocaine. Marijuana and cocaine. She's 26 years old right now, okay? 12 years old, she starts using marijuana and cocaine. At 13, she continues using marijuana and cocaine. She starts dabbling in the use of meth and begins dating a hardcore drug dealer who was 6 years older than her. She's 13, he's 19. Now, depending on what's occurring in their relationship, there might be crimes. There might be crimes, I'll leave it at that, okay? Among other things, all right? At 19, she gets hardcore into meth, hence all the scars and things like that. At 19, she has heart attack number 1. 19 years old, has heart attack number 1. At 20, she has heart attack number 2. Both under the influence and near overdose deaths when she has a heart attack. Okay? Well, she follows that up with a stroke. Guys, she's 26 years old today, and this is what she's done with herself. One thing I didn't share with the other classes was my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. My mom's done nothing to anybody but work hard her entire life. She's a single parent. She raised me and my brother. We weren't easy to raise. My brother more so than me. I was actually very, I behaved well, listened to every single thing my mom said, but my brother did, so she had her hands full with him. She did nothing, and she gets this disease. And there's drug addicts out there that are abusing what would be an otherwise healthy body for their entire life, and they're abusing it every single day. Every day. I don't understand that, and I don't think it's fair. You know? I mean, I'm watching my mom go every day. Here. And these kids are abusing, and adults too, are abusing their bodies by shooting heroin and Xanax and Vicodin and all these other drugs inside their body. I'd like to ask them to trade places with my mom. You think they would? I would say probably not. Okay? Probably not going to happen. Let me skip up to here real quick. Why are kids in our communities using drugs? This is a question that I like to ask my DARE students, and when I go to give presentations, I like to ask the kids, why are so many kids in my communities or in our communities using drugs? Here is some of the answers that I get. To be or look cool. Because everyone else is peer pressure. To forget about their problems. Curiosity. To get attention. This one here. Because they like how they feel on drugs. When I just went back in detectives in February this year. I was in detectives for 10 years before. And I would always take the opportunity when our patrol guys would arrest some of our teenagers. They'd catch them underage drinking or something like that on the weekends. And they'd arrest them, and instead of making them post bond because their parents are going to pay that bill. And as a parent, I'm telling you, I'm not getting rich as a police officer in Troy, Illinois, I can assure you guys that. But it's hard to make ends meet. Okay? Everything is so expensive. And so, one option we have is community service. We'll have them come to the police department, wash and wax the squad cars, clean the police department, different things like that. Okay, we'll have them work off their fines. All right, 8 hours is worth $100, and that's how we do it. So I would always take the opportunity when they would arrest a teenager and teaching there for 18 years. I know all the kids in Troy. I know them all. Okay, so I would always ask them, what? And the majority of the kids, or almost all the kids, when I would walk out or walk into the room where they were at, I'd walk in, they'd be like, oh, sure. Just shame and embarrassment. Except for one girl. I went in and I was like, hey, Officer Quinn, what's going on? I was like, I'm what? You're in a good mood for being in the police department. So we started talking. What are you here for? Oh, I got caught with dope. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Really? Yep. You like doing drugs? Absolutely. Love the way they make me feel. Now, my coworkers and anybody that knows me will tell you, they say, my coworkers do, that I can be a bit of a smart aleck. I'm very rarely at a loss for words. I had nothing to say to her response. She rattled my cage. It was control-alt-delete of my brain. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Love the way drugs make me feel. I love doing drugs. I'm going to do drugs, and if I die, I'll die happy. I'll die doing what I want to do because I love the way drugs make me feel. I said, thank you for your time. You have a great day. I didn't know what else to say to her. You know, how do you respond to that? You can't, really. Boredom. If kids would have grown up when we grew up, we didn't have iPads, iPods, Wii, Xbox 360, PlayStations. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have iMac computers. We had this thing this one time, it was called an Atari. Yeah, and if you've ever seen an Atari, which incidentally, Asteroids is the best game. If you've ever seen an Atari, the graphics fail miserably by comparison to today's standards of video games. And when your parents tell you they had to be home when the streetlights came on, that's how it was. How a person can be bored these days is, that I cannot wrap my brain around, okay? To be socially accepted. I asked Nora, all on video, I said, Nora, why'd you start? She goes, you know, I moved here from Granite City. And she goes, I didn't know anybody, and I was really nervous about moving to a new school. Okay, I get that, I can understand that. She goes, and so I wanted to get friends, and I wanted people to like me, and I wanted people to accept me. So I told them, anything you need, I can get. That's why she started, to be socially accepted. How sad is it for somebody to jeopardize their life and their health to be accepted into a group, or to have a certain group of friends? Your life is about choices. Okay? If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, guys, what is it? A duck. You pick friends that make poor decisions, whether you're doing it or not, you're going to look like a turd just like they do. And that's how it is. All right? To be socially accepted is just unreal. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and I'm going to set this up here real quick. This is Melissa. This was December 6th of 2012. Okay? December 6th, 2012. And she had a warrant for her arrest for possession of controlled substance. And we have been looking for her. We know her well. Oh, and incidentally, if I were to put her name on the screen, it would be in red. Yep. one positive thing that's come out of this is I've actually reconnected with her a little bit, but I've reconnected with her mother. Her mom's at a lot of our mom's on the Heroin Task Force, Madison County Heroin Task Force. She shows up at all the meetings and she's been to a lot of my presentations, and she's just an awesome, awesome lady who's been to hell and back, literally. $46,000 of her retirement to try to help her daughter get clean. Nora told me that her parents are probably at $50,000 trying to save her. $50,000. She has a severely autistic brother, Nora does. She's stolen hundreds of dollars from him. And she says, and you're always justifying it. I'll pay it back. I'm just going to borrow it. I'll pay it back. I'll pay it back. I'll pay it back. I'll pay it back. I said, Nora, you ever paid it back? No. I'm not paying anybody back. Okay. Melissa, we get an anonymous phone call. We have a call right now. That's awesome. We get an anonymous phone call. I know the name, I know the person, being the dare officer, I know the kids. It's one of her BFFs. Hey, Melissa's walking down Collinsville Road in Troy right now with a boy. We get there, there's Melissa and a boy. I'm the assist officer, Officer Meyer arrests her. I get the boy, we separate him. It's December 6th. You guys know how cold it is out today, and we're November 13th, okay? It's December 6th, it's cold, all right? Now, I told you earlier, I'm a deer hunter, I love cold weather. When I leave here, I like to go sit in my tree for 3-4 hours, okay? That's therapeutic for me. Cold weather doesn't bother me. It's December 6th. I'm wearing a t-shirt, a long-sleeve turtleneck, a bulletproof vest, a long-sleeve uniform shirt, and a jacket, and I'm chilly. He's wearing a t-shirt and shorts. She had on boots, and she had on shorts, some type of shorts, I don't know what you call them. Capris. Yeah, they weren't capris. They were like long shorts or short capris. How about that? They were kind of like in the middle. But she's got that on, and she didn't have a coat on either. And I'm like, man, it's cold out, guys. So we separate them, and I got him on the curb, and I'm talking to him, and he's slapping his hands and smacking his legs, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know, I'm thinking, this guy's tweaking hard. I'm like, what are you doing? There's bugs, man. They're everywhere. The bugs are everywhere. It's December 6th. There wasn't a mosquito within 50 miles of us. And I swear to you, no embellishment here, no exaggeration. I watched him, he started scratching his right knee, and I watched the dude scratch a hole in his right knee that bled to where the blood ran down the front of his shin and soaked into his sock. And I'm like, dude, you're scratching a hole in your knee. He's like, it's the bugs, they're everywhere. We get her back to the station. I walk in the booker and she's like, oh, emotional. She goes, oh, I'm like, what? You know, I mean, Melissa, what am I doing wrong? As a drug prevention officer, what am I doing wrong? You don't understand how it is, she says. One time and you're done. She goes, I did it one time. I just wanted to try it. And here's where I'm at. One thing I forgot to mention is one of the things she's doing to get drugs and money is prostituting. Yeah. How nice is that? Okay. So she says, I would love to come into your DARE class and tell your kids my story. And you know what? I wanted to take her right then and there, the way she was dressed, the way she looked, all the open sores, and the smell. If you've not ever smelled a drug addict, guys, it's not a body odor like they had gym class and then took a shower, didn't put deodorant on or whatever. It's a chemical smell. It's disgusting. It's like a decomposed body. It's a smell you never, ever, ever forget. It's gross. Okay? So I wanted to take her right then and there. Just show the kids. This is it. I can tell you until I'm blue in the face, but here it is, right here. This is what you look like, this is what you smell like, and this is what happens to you when you use heroin and prescription medication. So we couldn't do that. She actually went to prison. This was December 6th. She went to the Department of Corrections custody on December 12th. And that's a whole other story in and of itself. But, so I said, let's do this. Let's get my phone. Do you want to send a message to the kids? She said, yeah, because if I can reach one, I've done my job, and it will be at least one positive thing in my negative life. Okay? So what she's going to do for you guys is she's going to describe what it's like going through withdrawals on heroin. She's going to describe going through withdrawals on heroin. It's going to sound funny. It's like going through withdrawals on heroin.
miserable. In school, I'd rather be dead. It's so miserable. Your legs kick nonstop. You can't sleep. You can't lay down. You can't stand up. Your stomach's in knots at all times. You poop on yourself. You throw up all the time, constantly. You feel like there's something crawling on your body. Your skin itches. You get goosebumps. You get cold sweats. You get chills. You get hot. You get cold. You get a runny nose. You get a fever. It's worse than any flu thing I've ever had to go through this for.
You're using needles.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What diseases do you have?
Hepatitis C.
Does that ever go away?
No, sir.
So you'll have that for the rest of your life.
I'm 19 years old. I love it the rest of my life.
How many times you been to rehab?
6.
And you've relapsed every single time, right?
Yes, sir. Heroin ruined my life.
Say that again.
Heroin ruined my life. Heroin ruined my life.
Anything else you want to say? What do you want to say to these kids that I'm going to tell them to do?
If somebody offers you that stuff, that you tell somebody, because they're not your friends, and they'll make you think that it's the greatest thing in the world. And you think it is the first couple times you use it, but you know, it's got you, and it's evil. It is, you don't want this in your life. It only puts you 3 places, jails, institutions, you're dead.
Wish her mom was here. Every time she hears that, it's unreal for you guys to just see the reaction from her mother. Okay? If you listen, I asked her, I said, what do you want to say to these kids I'm going to play this to? She goes, if somebody offers you this stuff, you tell somebody because they are not your friends. This was not a scripted interview. Neither was Nora's. It was an impromptu interview at our police department. I had an opportunity to get some good information right then and there, and I jumped all over that opportunity to do so. This was not scripted. I asked her a few questions. You heard it. We didn't make anything up here. And it'll put you in 3 places: jails, institutions, or dead. She's been to 2, guys. What's left?
Dead.
Death. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Kelly and I, Kelly mentioned earlier, just real quick before I end this and bring up our real special speaker here. Has anybody ever, raise your hand, if you've ever delivered a death notification? A death notification is when you get to knock on someone's door and say, hi, I'm Detective Collinsville from the Detroit Police Department. This is Investigator Rogers from the Madison County Coroner's Office. May we please talk with you? And we get to go in there and tell them that their child or family member or loved one has died. Deliver a death notification, okay? It sucks. One time is too many, and I've done it many times in my 20-year career. Kelly's done it. I don't even compare to how many times he's had to do it. That's basically their job. But if it's one of my cases, I like to go because I feel it's part of my responsibility as well. Okay? It is not a pleasant thing to do. I typically play a video. It's about 13 minutes long, and it chronicles a Madison County family whose son Jesse struggled with heroin addiction, and it ultimately took his life. And the reason I play that video is so that you can see the devastation from a parent's perspective. My 17-year-old female, I've asked her dad, Rick, to come and present with me, and even now, he's like, Chris, I can't stand up in front of people and talk about my baby. I can't do it. Okay? But today, we have someone who can. You're going to hear from one of your own. This is a family member from your school. This is one of your school family members. Okay? And the message that the 3 of us brought, I hope sinks in. But I'm sure that the message you're about to hear is going to. Here's Dr. Caritas.
Guys, if what you've heard so far was not real enough for you, I'm really hoping this will be. 1 year ago last week, I lost my son to heroin overdose.
epidemic. And we've all heard that word before. We've all heard this is an epidemic and that's an epidemic. And everything's reaching epidemic proportions. So we kind of lose the emphasis of that word. And I really wish there was another word that meant the same thing, that would have a stronger impact. Because that's what I use. But I haven't been able to find one yet. In Madison and St. Clair counties, or in Madison County alone, actually, last year, there were 23 heroin overdoses. I believe right now for this year, for 2014, and we've still got several weeks to go to the end of the year, we're at 19. 23. I looked that number up in February. It was an important number. They're just statistics, though, right? They're just numbers. The thing is, we can distance ourselves from numbers. They don't mean anything to us. Unless, of course, our friend or our loved one is representative of one of those numbers. We're represented by one of those numbers. Then they matter. I didn't have to look up that number to tell you. I remembered it. The number is going to be ingrained in my mind forever. My son, November 4th, 2013, was number 23. I want you to get a glimpse of what our journey was and the 23 wonderful years that we had.
This is not my home, this is not my space, this is not my style, this is not my place. Can't get comfortable, can't get settled in, simply don't belong, can't get used to this. But I'm here right now, I can hear you say, make the most of me, this won't go away. If I'm out in the attics of my life, full of cloudy dreams unreal, full of tastes no tongue can know, and lies no eye can see. When there was no ear to hear, you sang to me, going to leave this rough down palace on my hands and my knees. I will go, make myself dead by the water's side. In my time, I will go, in a bed by the waterside. I will lay my head, listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul. River, going to take me, sing me sweet and sweet. Sing me sweet and sweet, all the way back home.
That was our turn. See, my son, who had just turned 23, he had goals, he had dreams, things he wanted to do, places he wanted to go. And I mentioned that he wanted to be a daddy so bad. He was great with little kids. He loved kids. But one of the things that he wanted the most, through all of this, through all of the guilt that addicts go through, because they know they're messing up and can't figure out how to fix it, the thing he wanted the most was for his little brother, who's your age, his little brother, and me, to be proud of him. He wanted to be the kind of person his brother could look up to. He wanted us to be proud. You know what? Even with all of this, I couldn't be more proud. You know why? I'm so proud of the progress he was making and the fight he was fighting. Because guys, there's not many people in the world who are going to fight a fight that is harder to overcome than that of a heroin addict. It just isn't. The day I got the call to go to the emergency room, Mr. Floor had to drive me there. Heaven knows I was in no condition. I got a phone call that said, your son is here. He's in cardiac distress. That was all I knew. Everything had been going great. 4 days before that, he'd been in his AA meeting. He went to the Halloween party. I spent the whole weekend with him. That morning before I went to work, I went in, kissed him, said, hey bud, I love you, I'm heading to work. Have a good day. Call me when you get out of your meeting. Normal day. Somewhere along the line, something, I don't know what, but I got the call. So I got to the emergency room. Took me into the little room, and I waited. And eventually, a team of about 10 people, nurses, doctors, I can tell you who they all were. They all came in. And they told me that they were sorry. Nothing we could do. We did everything we could. We worked on him longer than we normally do. All the oxygen left the room. I don't really know how else to explain it. The world just, it crumbled. Eventually, I had to regain enough composure to be able to walk, because I still had to go back to the room he was in. So, they took me back, and he's laying there, still with the breathing tube in his throat. And they gave me his wallet, and they gave me a plastic hospital bag with his clothes. And in his wallet was a little coin that he had gotten after he completed successfully his rehab stay. It says 1 day at a time. He had it with him. And I'm looking at him. And this is on his wrist. This right here. This little red bracelet. These little red bracelets are given out by the National Council of Alcohol and Drug Awareness. And this particular bracelet is their heroin campaign. On this bracelet, it says not even once. It's got a little cat upside down. It says heroin plus curiosity. Y'all have heard the phrase, curiosity killed the cat, right? That's what this is based on. This is their campaign. The whole campaign focused solely on heroin addiction, heroin recovery, and prevention. He was wearing this. So he's wearing this, he has his coin. None of this is making sense to me. I don't understand. And then I just sit there, and eventually I have to leave, and I have to go through his clothes. Although I really never have gone through them, I just kind of looked at the bag, because I still can't do that. They had to cut the clothes off of him because it's an emergency. They don't take the time to like unbutton things and, hold them nice, no. They cut the clothes off. They get tubes and they get electrodes and all this stuff. And ironically, the shirt that he was wearing that day was his NA shirt, and that's Narcotics Anonymous. It was an NA shirt from the Thursday night group. That's his home group, that's his favorite group. The one that had thrown the Halloween party. That's what he was wearing. So guys, this isn't about willpower. It's not about whether a drug addict wants to quit or doesn't want to quit. It's so much more than that. One use flips the switch. Okay? Before you ever use, you have a choice. You can make a good choice or a bad choice. But once you've made that choice, if it's the wrong one, if you choose to use, you don't get any more choices after that. It's in control. Like it or not, it's in control. You will become a completely different person. My child, who I raised with morals and ethics, and he went to church and he came forward and he had himself baptized. In this 6-month period, Unbeknownst to me at the time, because I had all of my valuables put away, I didn't use them frequently because they were valuable. When I went through an inventory, over $20,000 worth of things gone. That's what this does to you. You become a different person. That's what I saw. When I went through his journals, he saw it in himself too. The guilt eats him up. This isn't a matter of willpower. It's a matter of a choice. And the wrong one eliminates all future choices. Then it's about survival. So I have a couple things that I want you to leave with today. Number one, nobody is immune from this addiction unless you never tried it. That's your only option. Number two, heroin doesn't discriminate, doesn't care if you're rich or poor, boy or girl, one religion or no religion, doesn't care if you're an AP student or not, doesn't care if you're an athlete or an artist or none of the above. It cares not at all. Heroin is an equal opportunity killer, and it will win. It's just a matter of time. And my final, and hopefully the most important point. Guys, if you see the signs, if you know something, act on it. And don't wait. This is a time bomb situation. There's no time to delay. There's no time to wait. Don't put it off till tomorrow. Get an adult and do something. That's the only choice. That's the only option. I know y'all don't like to rat each other out. Nobody likes a narc. I've heard it all. I sit in the office. I hear it all the time. I'm not saying anything. I don't rat my friends out. I'm not that kind of a friend. Really? Are you the kind of friend that contributes to your friend's death? Because if you keep your mouth shut, that's what's going to happen. There's going to be one or more, fewer people at your class reunion. Guaranteed. Talking. Getting an adult involved. Getting someone help is not being a narc. You narc to get somebody in trouble. This is about getting somebody help. This is about being a hero. How many people can say they've saved a life? This is your chance. Speak up and get help for whoever this person is. Friends, family member, loved one, whatever it is. It's the only help, folks. We've got to watch out for one another. Maybe if we do this, one more person will be at the class reunion. One more person will be at the family reunion. Band together, stay together, look out for each other. Thank you.
If you've heard nothing that any of us said today, I hope that made an impact. That is a parent's devastation. Don't do that to your parents. It's hard to make go away. If they won't, they'll never go away. Make good choices. It's not hard. Pick a good friend. Do the right thing. Don't be a statistic for Tom Gibbons, or for Kelly Rogers, or for any police department, or for Dr. Creative to speak up. Let's not put any more parents on stage. How about that? Let's put no more parents on stage. Make good decisions, guys. Okay? Don't leave. Ms. Fisher's going to dismiss you, but I want to say thank you very much. You guys were absolutely